After bristling with fire, Mexico has folded. What happened? I'm going to walk you through various countries that are now beginning to agree to Trump's tariffs. First, it was Colombia, then Panama, and today Mexico, with Canada being the lone holdout at this point of time. I'm going to also tell you about the options that Canada has. Take a look at this slide deck. But before that, please like this video, and if you have not already subscribed to our channel, please consider subscribing. So here we go. Quick video on what is going on, quick slide deck here. So what are the tariffs that were promised? Against Mexico, it was 25%, Colombia 25, going on to 50. Colombia has been pulled out. Now with Mexico also, folding, the tariffs are going to be delayed by a month. But let's see what Mexico has agreed to do. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum says that she has agreed to send 10,000 Mexican troops to the northern border to make sure that the illegals that are going to be coming in from United States are moved in a regulated manner, number one. Second, to keep the cartels at bay, because there is it is believed that there is some sort of a tacit agreement between cartels and the CCP, with in fact allegations that some people of the MSS are sitting with the cartels and they are actually operating the operations of cartels like they would an army. Now, the 10,000 strong Mexican force would be responsible to make sure the cartels are under some sort of order and that they don't start fighting this migration back to the homelands for many countries. In fact, Venezuela also has accepted that it will take back. They also were jumping up and down saying that they won't take back. In fact, Venezuela is perhaps one of the worst offenders. They have some of the biggest numbers of illegals sitting in the United States. Even as all this is happening, there are a lot of protests going on in Atlanta, Georgia, and there are many Mexican flags flying. I don't know why suddenly the Mexicans have jumped into this. So far, it was mostly people from deep south like Latin America, but now Mexico also is joining in the fight. You also saw Selena Gomez crying. See, these are all things that are to be expected. You don't expect Democrats just take things lying down, do you? So this is a pushback in a small way, but this could also balloon it into a bigger one. We have to wait and see how that goes. So first of all, I told you about the 10,000 members. Then the United States is also going to make sure that any high-powered weapons that are going from United States into Mexico, because the cartels are arming themselves with some high-powered weapon, that will be curbed from the United States. And then two fronts they are going to be tackling: security as well as trade. And for now, the United States, having seen Mexico agree to this 10,000 troops, has put a pause on increasing the tariffs for 1 month. Now, the point I think here is that the US also has 10,000 troops on the United States side, and Mexico is going to put 10,000 troops on their side. The question now is, who is responsible to make sure that the illegals, once they enter Mexico, are being processed properly and sent back to their respective destinations, assuming that they are not from Mexico? I mean, that's an assume. There may be a small percentage who may have to go back to their homelands in Mexico. See, Mexico's lifestyle has improved quite a bit, and I think many people have decided that it's not worth pulling your roots and coming and settling down in the US when the lifestyle, the quality of life in Mexico has gone up. In fact, there are places there that feel just like the United States. So whatever it is. So this is one of the things, that is, Mexico has folded. Then let's take a quick look at what happened in Panama. But before that, one of the statements that Sheinbaum said, that we categorically reject US statement that Mexico has ties to drug cartels. Now, this is a picture of the number of cartels that are operating in Mexico. Can you see it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of them. 8 cartels, and the areas where they are strong or powerful is shown by way of colors. So you can make your own decision as to how much of a control cartels have on the Mexican government, and also what about the influence of China in this whole mix. China, I've told you, has actually started building up huge technology parks in the hope of trying to avoid sanctions that may be imposed on China. They thought that by building their factories in Mexico, that would not attract the same kind of sanctions. So that is the other open-ended thing. A lot of things are going to happen in the next few weeks and months. Just stay tuned. We'll give you the latest update on what is going on the US-Mexico border. The more interesting thing is, I would like to know how Mexico handles its southern border, especially for incoming illegals. They can shut that off. There's nothing wrong. There is nothing to stop them from doing that, because that is half the problem. Let's wait and see how that goes. Now, next, Panama. Panama's president said after the meeting with the Secretary of State Marco Rubio that Panama will not renew its 2017 agreement with China on its Belt and Road Initiative. This is the excuse me. The end date is about a year or two away, but Panama has said that it will terminate it earlier, which means that any day now Panama will go back to what it was before the Chinese influence started spreading. Although one must say that China has done some work at the Panama Canal. Go back and look at Major General Rajiv Narayanan's hangout with me on the other avenues China has tried to open in order to cross from the western, like from Pacific to the Atlantic, and also what they did, enhancements in the Panama Canal itself. So there are some good things that they did there, but all that stuff now, it comes back to whoever is going to control Panama. Now, let's take a look at what is happening with Canada. Canada said that they are immediately imposing 25% tariffs, right? Now, is it going to be on all across the board, or is it going to be just on a few selected items? Now, here is an interesting situation for Canada. I'm going to show you a map in the next slide that will give you an idea of how dependent Canada is on United States, even to send crude to its own territories. Hard as it may be to believe, what has happened is, let me just show you the picture now, and then I'll walk you back and forth. I'll have to go back and forth between the text and the picture. This is the picture of all the pipelines between Canada and United States. As you can see, much of the oil in Canada is on the western side. From there, whether it is shale or other things, it's almost all on the western side. I'm going to get closer so I can explain to you a little bit better. So you have the big ones are the Trans Mountain and Trans Mountain expansion that goes from well into Canada down towards the western side, and from there they are sent out by ship. Now, that is one part. Then you have the other one, which is the main one, was supposed to be the Keystone XL, because they felt that, I mean, US also felt that there wasn't enough coverage by way of pipelines, and that's why they built this Keystone XL pipeline. And that was operational until Biden came along and shut it off. So the main Keystone pipeline is not operational right now. Keystone XL, I don't know if Keystone itself is not operational. I know Keystone XL, I think, is not operational. I'm not 100% sure, but Keystone has been shut off. So the other things are still there. But take a look at the line 9, Energy East. See the ... line? See, that is inside Canada. So Canada wanted to have its own pipeline within its own territory, which the Canada's leftists canceled because of climate issues. I mean, this is like, cutting your own nose to spite your face. So what is going to happen now? Let us say that they put 25% tariffs on oil, right? Energy, that's a big one for Canada, because it exports a lot of oil and natural gas to United States. And how does it export them? Via the pipelines. So if they put 25%, let's just say that they put 25%. Now, the thing is going to flow in through US pipelines. Then it is going to go out from US back to Canada to service Canada's East Coast. Then will that 25% be tagged on by the United States on its way out? So what happens to the people in the East Coast of Canada? It's a problem, isn't it? That's first problem. Second problem, they say, okay, I'm going to completely ban energy exports to United States. Then what happens? Well, the pipelines will completely dry up for the east coast of Canada. Canadians will go without oil unless they want to do it on road. Then that will drive up the costs. So you have a lot of difficult choices as far as Canada is concerned on how to respond to this. My 2 cents would be that Canada come up with a detailed plan on how they are going to completely shut down the fentanyl operations. By the way, I would encourage all of you to read a book called Willful Blindness by Samuel Cooper, where he talks about how Vancouver area has been completely overrun by Chinese interests, and these are the interests that are actually running drugs, they are laundering money, they are doing all kinds of things, buying up real estate in the Vancouver area. I think I've done a couple of episodes on that in the past. So a lot of problems are being created because of the precursor, which is not illegal, precursor to fentanyl. Precursors are, think of it like, ingredients that are needed to make fentanyl. So the ingredients are being brought into Canada. So the lab that creates fentanyl is actually in Canada, and so is the case in Mexico and also in the United States. The US is doing a better job of cracking down on these things, but Mexico and Canada a long way to go. So why don't Canada first concentrate on the real problem, and the real problem being that they need to understand where US is insisting. It's not on Canada's export that US has a problem. It is the problem is of how it has allowed China and CCP to completely control the way it does its business, especially the liberal government, especially Justin Trudeau. He still can't explain how a Chinese individual with ties to the CCP has donated to the Trudeau Foundation. I did a separate episode on that. He's been very mum on that. So Canada, instead of trying to solve the original problem, I stand by what I said yesterday. Fentanyl, that's what is the one that needs to be solved. They need to also make sure that black money and drug-related money is completely shut off. That means bye-bye to Khalistan and Kurdistan interests, because these are indirectly being controlled through China's cat's paw, Pakistan. All this is happening in Canada. These are the things that they need to fix. Automatically, Kurdistan is gone. That's how it should be, and that's how it will be. And I'm hoping that all these things will happen in real short time, because there isn't enough time. The faster US gets this fentanyl stuff under control, the better it will be able to save its own youth and its own future generations. I'll stop now. Let me see if there's any other product. I have some people from Canada trying to say some things. Let me just pass on. Let me see if I can at least try and explain to them what is going on. Raj Singh says, Trump truly has come out of syllabus for the left loonies. Very true, Raj Singh. That is absolutely right. Now, Ameya Rupal says, can Trump just pass a legislation defining that illegals don't come under US jurisdiction? This will in effect end 14th Amendment without any constitutional amendment. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out, Ameya. There are moves and counter moves, and if whatever legislation he brings, that will also get challenged in a court of law. Let's wait and see how this plays out. They have I know, birthright citizenship, I understand that. Let's wait and see how this plays just a few days from now. Chris says, boycott all American products. Tariffs only shows Trump wants to take over Canada like Hitler took over Austria, their most friendly neighbor. How did all that work out for Germany and Hitler? Chris, I don't think in America wants to annex Canada, nor do I think that Canada wants to merge with United States. You are a unique country. You should be by yourself. There's nothing wrong in the way you've got your standard of living is very good. You guys have done a great job. People are they've acquired a better work-life balance, I think, than the United States has. And for that, you've given up something. Like, for example, you give up more by way of taxes, but you get better support from the system, like Medicare, health services, and so on and so forth. The two systems are not something that are going to be able to match. This is, again, rhetoric. Don't take Trump's statement too seriously. Like I said yesterday, Trump first shocks you, and then he will try to negotiate for where he thinks he is going to get his pound of flesh. So you need to not respond to the initial shock, but wait to see what he really wants, and then try and make the best deal out of it. 𝗔𝗏𝗻𝗂 says Mexico is the main offender of cross-border human trafficking. Not 100% sure, 𝗔𝗏𝗻𝗂. There are also talks about Canada doing the same thing, because they are saying that it's very easy to get into Canada. I don't know. Then Anant Shivkumar wants to know, is 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝙪 even legal? Don't they need parliament to approve it? I don't think so. The government, the president has leeway to appoint anyone he wants to do anything he wants. It's up to the president. I don't think that is illegal per se. Something like, for example, completely dismantling Department of Education, that might be difficult. For that, they may need a little bit more constitutional okay, and some legal maneuvering may be needed. But just trying to make something efficient, I don't think so. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just telling you what I see. I'm just saying that. But just from the look of it, I don't think trying to improve, trying to make something efficient is not illegal. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 wants to know, Mexico has not folded. Trump has bought himself another month to lick his own arse after his diaper arse got a sound kick. Guys, look, don't vent, please. This is something where the problem is something else. The problem is not Mexico. The problem is not Canada. Why don't we first look at what the problem is? Let's try and fix that. Anant wants to know, isn't it worrisome that Musk has too much power? Money should not be this scary. Well, it'll get corrected. I trust me. This is not something. There's a lot of, see, he has his own X platform, and if you follow him there, you'll see a lot of claims being made. Things will find a balance. Trust me. Rahul Venugopal wants to know, all the chest thumping for the last 2 days for nothing. JT just bended the knee as usual. Or you mean Justin Trudeau? He has not yet bent his knee. They are still holding out. That's why I did this whole problem about China. Canada has an energy problem. They need to go through the United States to get energy to their own states, provinces. So that's where we stand. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And I'll be back again at 6 a.m. IST with more updates. Namaskar.